Hey, so what is going on, everybody? I'm back with another YouTube video. Now, in today's video, guys, we're going to be continuing the book review series, and today we're going to be doing a book review for Night of the Living Dummy. So before I start this video, I obviously, as I usually do, have a lot of announcements to make. I haven't uploaded in a week, and I know I said that I was going to upload Thursday, and I said I was going to upload Thursday or Wednesday, and then I pushed it to Thursday. And then I just didn't even upload the entire week after that. I was really busy last week. I had a lot of exciting stuff last week. Obviously, it was the week of Halloween. And yesterday I had an absolute blast playing Michael Myers and then playing Huntress, as you guys saw in the community post. So I'll put a picture up here so you guys can see, the picture of me, just kind of standing outside and for Halloween and stuff like that. It was the first year that I didn't trick-or-treat at all. A few years prior, I did trick-or-treat a little bit, and then I would stay at the house and hand out candy. I didn't trick-or-treat at all this year, but I'm okay with that. I don't think I find it as entertaining as it used to be, but it would take me a long time to get rid of all the candy, and by that I mean eat it, and, obviously I'm not going to eat it all in one day, but I did get a little bit of candy, just from, having it from the bags and getting it from places and stuff like that. And if you haven't noticed, I got a haircut, so hopefully it looks a lot better. I haven't gotten a haircut in about 6 months now. About 5.5 months, more like that. I get haircuts a lot more often than I used to. And I think I definitely do look better in short hair. So, you're just going to have to get used to this. And then before you know it, it'll be long again. It really helps with the forehead acne. I know you guys can't notice it because it's too far away. But I get a lot of forehead acne up here. And I also moved myself a little bit, so you'll be able to see Slappy better than my last video. I know you could only really see his head peeking over my shoulder in the last video, so in this video, hopefully you'll be able to see it better. And it'll be really, really unironic because today we're doing the Night of the Living Dummy book review. So I'm going to try to make this book review as short as possible, so let's start talking about it. All right, so Night of the Living Dummy is one of those books where I did read this book 2 years ago, so it was back in 6th grade. And, even though I read it 2 years ago, this is probably I remember things the least from this book out of all the other books in the series. I remember a lot more from Let's Get Invisible than I do in Night of the Living Dummy, which is weird because I read them practically the same time period. So let's start talking about this. So obviously, here's the 2008 reprint copy, which is the one that I read out of. I know this one was made back in 2008 because this one actually has the texture. If you get the newer ones today, they won't really have the texture on them. But, this is definitely an older book, and this was the one that I read out of. So there's the 2008 reprint copy. Definitely one of my favorite 2008 reprint copies. So, yeah, there's that one. And here is the original print one that we'll be holding up for today. So let's start talking about this book. Alright, so Night of the Living Dummy, this is a weird book because it's hard to kind of get, without any knowledge of this book, you'd think, oh, okay, so it's going to be about Slappy, right? You see the cover and stuff like that. But if you haven't watched the TV episode, there is no TV episode, and I don't know why they didn't do that. It was probably because they were, trying to figure out what doll they were going to use for the show. I don't know. But I really wish they made a TV episode for this. And maybe in the new TV show that I think they're planning, maybe they'll make a TV episode for Night of the Living Dummy. Because, I think it was really, really weird of them doing it back then. I'm sure a lot of people were really confused about how they did Night of the Living Dummy 2. And they were probably just waiting for the first one to come out, and they never got that. So without having any knowledge on this book, it's hard to know what it is about. And it's not even really about Slappy. Slappy is in the book, but he's not actually the villain in the book. I believe it's Mr. Woods is the name of the doll in the book. I'd have to look here. Yeah, it's Mr. Wood. Yeah, I believe it's, it's Mr. Wood, I believe, is the enemy doll in this book. And this is another one of those beginning books where they obviously do kind of the sibling rivalry here. This book definitely kind of goes back and forth between them going to school with the dummy. I believe they went to school to practice ventriloquism with the dummy, so they actually brought it there. And then they came home and they had problems and stuff like that. like I said, my memory is very, very faded about this book, but what I can say is it is a really, really good book. Um, Despite the fact that Slappy is not the main character. I think that's okay though. I mean, starting out with Mr. Wood and then, after he's gone, Slappy just kind of takes over in the future books. I think Night of the Living Dummy 2 was definitely the golden book for Slappy. It was truly about Slappy, just kind of him and him only, and he was standing up against this other doll that then at the end of the book, kind of surprises everybody. And then in Night of the Living Dummy 3, he has this whole group of dolls, and, obviously they kind of go on their own little rampage. And then you have Bride of the Living Dummy, which introduces more things. And then there's all these Slappy World books where you can get all the Slappy stuff that you need to get. But this one was definitely not the book for Slappy, but Mr. Wood was still a really interesting character that really just, this was a very creepy book, I will say that. I think out of all the books, this was probably one of the more creepy ones. I know it's an older series, so, people who watch the TV show and read the books, they're not going to think that it's scary, but it still has a creepy concept. You got to kind of think of it as back in the 90s. What did people think about this book? Because back then the CGI for that and the ideas for that were really, really scary. And then you came in with the Generation Z with the Haunting Hour, which is, still really creepy now, especially for a children's show. Obviously that got canceled, which was really sad, but you can still watch the episodes. There's a lot on YouTube that you can actually watch. But yeah, Night of the Living Dummy, great book. I don't think there's a lot to say about this book in terms of pace. I think from what I could remember, it was kind of just like back and forth between the school and home. So you got a little bit of conflict at school with the teacher, and I think them believing, that Mr. Wood is alive or whatever. And then they had conflict at home. So that's kind of like where the pace was with this book, which, that kind of back and forth thing isn't always good. But other than that, from what I can remember, this was a really, really good book. It's definitely above average. I don't think I would give it any higher rating than 8. Because it's not the best when you put it into terms of that pace from what I could remember. But it's still a really, really good book. I thought the future Night of the Living Dummy books were a lot better. I know some people might disagree with me, but I still did enjoy Mr. Wood as a character. So that's all I have to say for Night of the Living Dummy. So guys, I know that was a really, really short review. There's not a lot to talk about in terms of Night of the Living Dummy, and I'm very sorry because my memory on reading that book is very, very faded, but from what I can say, it is a really, really good book. I will say that. There's not a lot to complain about Night of the Living Dummy. Obviously, it's one of the best ideas that R.L. Stine managed to make, and now he's making his own series just based for that. For all the kids in this generation, well, obviously, I'm not in their generation. It's Generation Alpha. But Slappy World, that series is still going from what I heard. There's nothing bad about it. They've releasing really good books. And there's even a 12th book in the Slappy World series that I have not gotten yet. And I forgot what the name was, but I do have all the way up to 11. I'll have to go back to Barnes & Noble at the mall here pretty soon so I can pick up that book so I can have it in the collection. So the next book I will be reading is going to be The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. So after I finish this Diary of a Wimpy Kid book and we get the Diary of a Wimpy Kid book series ranking out, it's going to be very awesome. I know you guys are going to be excited for that. I'm going to start reading the next book in the series. And while all that is happening, I'm probably going to release some more book reviews for you guys. Let's see. We'll dive down the list. Well, I still got to read The Girl Who Cried Monster, Welcome to Nightmare. I read like part of that, so I'm going to have to reread that, I think. And we can just keep going down the list. Like Ghost Next Door, The Haunted Mass, Be Careful What You Wish For, just keep going down. So that'll be pretty exciting. Lots of book reviews coming. A new ranking for the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series, and also a surprise video that I would like to do that will be coming out this week. And I just kind of want to make it a surprise. It's not really going to be something very exciting, not something really relative to you guys, but I just kind of want to do it. I thought it would be an interesting idea because I was seeing other videos on this, so I'll just kind of leave it up to when I make the video because the weather's going to be nice this week, and it's November, which is surprising. The first couple weeks here of November, you're going to have some nice weather, which is really weird. I really like the month of November, though. It's probably my favorite month. Definitely a very casual month. And then you just got Thanksgiving that rolls into the end of it, which is really nice. So, yeah, stay tuned for that that new video that will be coming out this week. I just kind of want to leave it up to you guys to think about what it is, even though you're probably not going to figure it out anyway. So, other than that, guys, I had a great Halloween. Hope you guys did. Still going to be watching horror movies, though, and stuff like that. Stay tuned for more streams, hopefully, whenever I can pop out a stream. I shouldn't be too busy for this month, but I was pretty busy last week, I'll tell you that. So hopefully I'll get in some more videos. Hopefully some streams if I feel like it. Probably not throughout the week, but over the weekends, maybe. A lot of my streams don't go very well anyway, but that doesn't matter. Like and subscribe, guys, and I'll see you next time.